Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Wednesday. I hope everybody's having a good Wednesday morning so far. Hope y'all having a good morning so far. Um, I have got. I didn't add this to the topic, but we're gonna have to talk about this right here. I'll mention that in a little bit. Like got a little breaking news from as recent as an hour ago. So I don't know how many people know about that. So we'll definitely mention that in just a bit for sure. But good morning. Hope y'all are having a good Wednesday morning so far. As you come in, if you would, hit that like. Hit that like as you come in. That would be awesome. Oh, y'all know I'm repping. I'm repping. I'm repping for my city. I love my city. I know it's an S hole right now, but I love my city. I love my city, man, regardless. Nonetheless, we're gonna get started here in a bit, man. You are watching the Captain's Quarters show. I'm your host, Milliner. All right. We're gonna get to it in just a bit. Got a lot to talk about. Mm-mm-mm. Gonna get started here in just a bit. Take care of some little maintenance. Take care of a little maintenance real quick. Just right quick. Let's see here. Oh yeah, by the way, let's see if I can put it up there. By the way, if you wanna join the show, I'm gonna put it in the comments. If you wanna join on the screen, what does that mean? By default, the screen. Your current just for what? Okay, let me see if it'll let me do it. See if I can get off of that. I'm trying to see if it'll let me. Okay, it should do it there. So if you want to join the show, you can do it. The link is right there in the comments. It should be in the comments. It should pop up. It should pop right on up. All right. Let's go ahead and get it. Let's go right ahead and get it, man. They go that beige boy again. That beige boy is back. Light skin, yellow, red. There he go. I'm back. I'm back on here, man. They can't stop. They can't keep a good guy down, all right? They can't keep a good guy down. So, Lord knows they try. All right. Lord knows they try, boy. But it just ain't working. So, Lord have mercy. These folks, man. We gonna get to that though. I'm gonna get to that whole Carmelo thing in just a bit. Yo, um, welcome in. This is the Captain's Quarters show. I am your host, Milliner, where I am never afraid to rock the boat. All right, because you are in the right place. If you want some straightforward, straight to the point, We not sugarcoating it. I'm just giving it to you straight. Okay, if you want that type of commentary and that type of honesty in whatever's going on, you came to the right place. All right, you came to the right place. So be sure to hit that like, share the video, and follow the page. Now, let's go ahead and get started with the first. Let's get it off on a positive note. All right, let's start off on a positive. So I don't know how many people are even aware of this. It's international news, all right, but there was a Tennessee pastor that was doing mission work in South Africa, all right, and he was at service. They were doing a prayer service at the local church there in South Africa, and a gang of men showed up mid prayer service with guns drawn and kidnapped the pastor, all right, the Tennessee pastor. And basically, for like, let's see here. I think that happened like around Monday or Tuesday or something. If I'm not mistaken. I want to say they had got him like a couple days ago. So of course, that was big, huge news that a American pastor got kidnapped in South Africa. Well, the authorities there, they ended up catching up to the kidnappers. There was a shootout, all right, with the kidnappers. Like, three of them died. Three of the kidnappers that took the pastor are deceased. They are no more. They have been laid to rest permanently, all right, in a permanent rest. And so the pastor, he wasn't hit with any bullets, anything. He was completely safe. Everything's good. So, man, I'll tell y'all that's a miracle. Truly, that's a miracle. Because most likely what they were doing was they probably were going to try to get a ransom for him. That's probably what they were going to do, and then they probably wasn't going to return him either. They probably get the ransom and then kill him at the end of that. But they didn't get the opportunity for all that. So, yeah. So according to BBC, Sullivan, all right, that's the pastor, was conducting a service with about 30 people at Fellowship Baptist Church in Motherwell on the Eastern Cape. All right. Thursday evening when four armed masked men came in there and took him. That's crazy. Imagine you have a service and four people just come in, guns drawn, and that's a crazy situation. His wife was there as well. Man, they had a gun on his wife too. That's crazy. But hey, man, God bless him. He is safe and sound. Three of the guys that kidnapped him, they are deceased. All right, they have been extinguished. All right, all that good stuff. It's over with for them. So they are in whatever resting place that they ended up in. Good for them. Now let's get to a situation coming out of man, I don't know, man. Texas, y'all got a lot going on, man. Texas got a lot going on. They are in the news a lot lately. You got the whole Karmelo Anthony got killing Austin Metcalf at the track meet. You got that going on, man. Everybody has an opinion on that. I've covered that as well. But also, there was a shooting at a Dallas high school, apparently. At a Dallas high school. Now I think they called this it was an active shooter situation. The shooting happened shortly after 1 p.m. Tuesday at Wilmer Hutchins in Southeast Dallas. All right, the affidavit said at 1:03 p.m. an unidentified, quote unquote, unidentified student led this individual into the school through an unsecured door. All right, the individual walked a hallway until he saw multiple male students, according to the affidavit. This individual, quote unquote, displayed a firearm and began firing at the students indiscriminately, striking 5 of them, the affidavit said. The individual then approached a student who was not able to run, the affidavit said, and appeared to take a point blank shot at the student. The individual later turned himself in, all right, on Tuesday night. The shooting prompted mass evacuations of the campus and a heavy police response as officials investigated the incident. The campus was secured after about an hour, and then parents were allowed to reunite with their children who had been evacuated to the school's nearby football stadium. Oh boy. Of course, they canceled classes for the ISD, which is the independent school district there in Dallas. They canceled them for the rest of the week. They had mental health resources available to students, faculty, and staff. Wow. We always hear about these school shootings, right? These school shootings, all that stuff. They love to say, "Oh my God, that's white boy activity right there, right? That's white boy activity." Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Uh, so, so you telling me what is this?
Voting aye. Ms. Hall voting aye. Have all members voted? Have all members voted?
Give me y'all.
There being 144 ayes and 0 nays, House Bill 142 is finally passed. Chair lays out on third reading House Bill 451. The clerk will read the bill.
Not like a white boy.
HB number 451 by Thompson, relating to a screening for the risk of commercial sexual exploitation of certain children.
Oh,
Chair
his name
recognizes
is
Ms. Thompson to
Tracy
explain the bill.
Jr., 17 years old.
Speaker, members, this is a bill
That
that brought
was
now
the school
opportunity
shooter.
to be able to
That
screen
was
children,
walked in the
particularly
hallway,
those who are
saw a
involved
group of males,
in
and started
TJAD.
indiscriminately.
Passage.
The question occurs in final passage of House Bill 451. This is a record vote. The clerk will ring the bell.
Who appeared to not be able to get away, to run away.
Have all members
You walked
voted?
up on that person and shot him point
Have
blank.
all members voted? Being 147 ayes and 0 nays, House Bill 451 is finally
The
passed.
range white boy? Nah. don't look like that to me. I'm going by what y'all say. You know what I'm saying? That's what people say. They love saying that. And see, what I tell people
Next
is
bill on the calendar, House Bill 124, is
the
not
majority
eligible
of the
until 5
mass
p.m.
shootings in America is just a fact. They're done by quote unquote, black people. Like that's the quote unquote black people do most mass shootings. It's just honest, just being real. And here you have a situation like that. Had this had been a white kid, it would have been way bigger news. But he's black, so they gonna kind of like talk about it and be done with it. I mean, they ain't trying to really, what I'm saying, harp on that too much. They don't want to bring too much light to the black mass shooters. They don't want to do that. The media is not going to do that. So, man, hey man, prayers for them in high school, man. I know that can be a traumatic thing to have happen where you just in the hallway chilling, hanging out, talking to your homeboys about whatever y'all been up to lately, and then some random guy just walk up to you and start shooting on you. Like, just start shooting. And somebody let him in through an unsecured door. And then people wonder why are the doors always locked at schools, and why they gotta buzz you in and all this stuff. Man, because people do dumb stuff like that. But there again, the person let them in. So I mean, that can happen even at a door that's supposed to be, quote unquote secure. Somebody can steal from the inside, let somebody in. So I mean, I'm wondering, like, did the person know him, and know what he was finna do? Probably not. They probably didn't believe that was gonna happen. Hopefully not. Boy. But then staying in Texas, you got old Karmelo. Karmelo, he just got released. He got a bond reduction. He had a bond set at $1 million, and then they got this activist judge out there and she lowered his bond to $250K. Now, of course, the family done made they done raised $500,000-$600,000 through fundraising activities and stuff, right? Online fundraisers, Give, Send, Go, and all that. So of course they had the money to put up. All right, of course they got the money to put up. And truth be told, the lawyers that represent him, they probably not going to charge them like that anyway. I mean, because this is publicity and all that good stuff, right? So they probably ain't charging them an arm and a leg anyway. They may be, but I don't think so. So we got old buddy Karmelo. All right, got Karmelo. He out here getting out of jail and all that good stuff. Let's play this video and see what's happening.
All right. Come on, man. Just follow back behind us. Just stay close, okay?
He free. He is free. Ain't that something?
Karmelo, do you have anything that you'd like to say, Karmelo? Do you have anything that you'd like to say to the victim?
Now, I got this video from M.A. Rothman on Facebook. Shout out to him. I don't know who that is, but he has some great content. He keeps you in the loop. So that's where I got this from. M.A. Rothman on Facebook.
To the family of the victim, why were you armed, sweetheart? Karmelo, why were you armed at school? Explain your self-defense. How is this self-defense?
Excuse me.
Karmelo, is there anything you want to say to the community that's donated?
All right, and he gone. All right, so yeah, he bonded out. Now people are saying, oh, he got a reduced bond and he's out. So that must mean that he's the evidence is not that strong or something. Man, y'all. These people don't have no idea how court works, man. I've never been to court like that. Not a criminal court like that. But I know enough about it to where there's different types of court proceedings, right? So you have a bond court hearing where the judge will decide whether or not you deserve a bond based on the crime that you committed. And what goes into that is, are you a flight risk? You know what I'm saying? Are you a person who does international travel or something? Maybe you have passports, that type of thing. So that plays a part. Then the crime you committed, with the type of crime, that plays a part. Your age plays a part. Whether you have a criminal record or not plays a part. It's all these different attributes of the situation, different aspects play a part in whether or not you get a bond and how much your bond is and all that. So that has nothing to do with whether or not you're guilty or not. Because when you go to the bond hearing, they're not deciding whether you are guilty or not guilty. All right. So just because you get a lower bond means nothing about whether he's guilty or not. People are just, I don't know, man. I swear, people want this man to be, they want this young man to be innocent so bad. Any little bitty thing that they can attach themselves to and say, oh, well, see, they let him out. So that means it ain't that much evidence. It's not the case. It's not the case. Y'all sound dumb. You just sound dumb. At a certain point, y'all know how can I put this in the most community guideline way? Y'all know when rappers are rapping in songs or whatever, and they got their haters, and then they always man, y'all riding, you know what I'm saying? Y'all riding they, whatever, so hard. It's every chance you get, you try to ride that. The haters are trying to ride the person, you know what I'm saying, and hate on them. That's what people like are trying to do with this Karmelo thing. Like every little thing that happens on his behalf, they're hopping on him like, oh, see, I told y'all. Like, man, what is he to you? Do you know this guy or something? I mean, I'm trying to figure out why y'all going this hard on a kid in Texas and y'all living in Alabama and Florida and New York and places. I don't, you know what I'm saying? Then people folks want to say, we gotta wait till court, proceedings because we gotta wait till the trial start, man. We don't have enough evidence right now. Okay, you telling me I don't have enough evidence to say what I'm saying, but you're saying that he defended himself. I thought you said there wasn't enough evidence to decide either way. So for your side, you can say he defended himself because he said he defended himself. So you're gonna go with that narrative. But when I say, well, I read the police report, which y'all didn't do, I did my homework, read the police report, and people are saying Karmelo came to this tent. He was the one saying, "Don't touch me and see what happens." He was the one that had his bag, went into the bag, and pulled out the knife and did what he did. He could have left the situation, but he chose not to leave the situation. He chose to instead escalate the situation by saying, touch me, see what happens, punch me, see what happens, and all that. He could have just left, but he didn't want to do that. So you're telling me when the witnesses say what happened, we can't use that. But Karmelo saying he defended himself, we just supposed to run with that. Like y'all, y'all make no sense, man. I swear, man. Democrats, most of the people are Democrats. Let's keep it real. Pretty much everybody that's on the Karmelo train are Democrats, right? And if you know anything about Democrats and just liberal-minded people that ride the fence and stuff, they don't know if they coming or going. They don't know. They really don't know. They talking about Karmelo Anthony situation. Like if you defended Kyle Rittenhouse, then it's the same situation with Karmelo. No, it's not. It is not the same. It is not the same. They are nothing the same. In Kyle Rittenhouse's case, Kyle Rittenhouse, his whole situation was live streamed. Number one, I know because I was watching it when it was happening. And I covered it back then, back in 2020. What was that, 2020, 2021? Somewhere in there. I covered it. So his whole situation was videoed from beginning to the end, right? There's no question about what happened in that situation. In this situation, we have, at this point, witness testimony saying, yo, this is what happened. This is what I saw. This is what I heard, all that. All right? That's what we got. That's what we got. Okay? So in Kyle's situation, he was videoed and you got to see people actively attacking him. Actively attack. He fled the situation. He chose to flee first. Then when he fell down and he had no way of escaping, and they were still upon him swinging skateboards and trying to stomp him into the ground and stuff, that's when he upped the rifle and shot people. But he only shot the people who were actively attacking him. There was a crowd around that you could see on camera. He didn't shoot any of them. He only shot the 3 people that were actively attacking him. One guy swung a skateboard. Another guy came in with a flying drop kick looking thing. And then you had another guy that put out a pistol and was finna shoot Kyle. And he shot all 3 of them. All right, all 3 of them. One of them, all right, I think his name was like Rosenbaum. His last name was Rosenbaum. The little short bald head guy. That dude was a convicted pedo. Convicted pedo. And folks out here trying to take up for him. In what universe? Like, get any type of defense. Anyway. So that's a whole nother situation from Karmelo's situation. Karmelo was not actively getting beat up. Nobody was swinging a weapon at him. Nobody pulled out a weapon on him. Okay, he didn't even say somebody put a weapon. He just said he defended himself. He was like, it's not alleged I did it, but I defended myself. He didn't say he had a whatever weapon. He swung a chair at me or something. He didn't say none of that. He didn't say that. So he had the option to flee. Like what if he really felt like he was in danger, he could have fled, just like what Kyle did in his situation. But Karmelo didn't do that because he didn't fear for his life. He wanted there to be a confrontation, so he had a reason to pull out that knife and do what he did. All the evidence points in that direction. That's the most logical thing. Anything outside of that, y'all making up stuff. Bullying. Who's saying that? Even Karmelo's family advocate. All right, there's an organization called I think it's called Next Generation or something in Texas. They're representing the family, and they are basically saying that they want to keep everything fair, right? They want to make sure they're kind of like the liaison between the family and the media type of thing. And even the representation said he didn't say nothing about no bullying. He said Austin and them didn't know Karmelo. They had never hung out before. There was never any interaction, none of that. They might have known of each other because they did go to rival schools, and they're both athletes. Outside of that, there's no bullying. Outside of that, they talking about Austin had drugs in his system, Molly and stuff. Even the representation of Karmelo said there's no evidence for that. No evidence for that. People were saying that like 2 days after the whole situation. It takes longer than that to get the blood samples back and stuff to test to see if somebody had drugs in their system. So people just making up stuff. Y'all believe that though. Y'all believe the made up stuff, but then the real stuff, like what eyewitnesses said in the actual police report, y'all saying, "Oh, we can't go by that. Y'all wait till trial." Well, why are you talking then? You shouldn't be saying anything. You shouldn't say anything in his defense. You should just say, "Wait till trial." I don't know. Wait till trial. But y'all don't do that. All right, it's rules for thee, not for me. That's what y'all run with. Y'all want everybody else to go by certain rules that y'all don't go by. See, I was something else, man. These folks are something else. I swear. I've been trying to tell folks, man, quote unquote, black people will circle the wagon at all costs. They cannot let another black person fall. Even when a black person is in the wrong, they'll still try to find any little teeny bit of something to hold on to of like, well, okay, yeah, he did it, but he could have did it like that, but he didn't do it like that though. Like in this situation with Karmelo, he shouldn't have had a knife there, but they gonna justify the knife. Oh well, they went on technically school property, so you can have a blade on you if you want it. Okay. Well, he wasn't in imminent danger because he didn't even flee the situation. They asked him to leave, he didn't leave. He didn't feel like he was being threatened like that because he didn't flee. Well, I mean, everybody ain't gonna run though. Everybody ain't gonna run. But he put his hand, according to the witnesses, he put his hand in the bag and was actively going for the knife without anybody knowing he had a knife at the time. But he did reach into the bag and he was saying actively, "Yo, touch me and see what happens. Punch me and see what happens." While having his hand on the bag, going into the bag. He already knew he was gonna do. And what they'll say, "Oh man, well, you know what I'm saying, but still, you put your hands on somebody, you can die about that." Since when? Since when can you just merely touch somebody and that's a death sentence? That's not logical at all. Y'all not being consistent because when police get punched on, kicked on, spit on, people bite them and resist arrest and all that, and they empty a clip off in the person. Y'all the first ones to say, man, they ain't right. They ain't have to do them like that. I thought y'all just said Karmelo was able to kill somebody because he got touched. He ain't even police. So he's saying police got to dang near lose their life before they can do anything? That's not logically consistent. But this is how y'all operate. And I already know this. That's why it's easy for me to even discuss stuff with y'all, because I know that y'all have dumb points that y'all gonna run to. And so y'all can't help it. It's just, I don't know, man. Is it in the DNA or something? I'm confused. Maybe it's in the DNA. Maybe it's in the DNA that you got to just be dumb and say, man, well, there's a black person involved. I gotta, you know what I'm saying? I gotta take their side. You know what I mean? You know, we gotta stick together by any means, at all costs. That seems to be what it is. That seems to be what it is. At all costs, y'all will the people in the wrong. All because of what it look like. That ain't nothing about that godly, nothing about that righteous. I mean, I don't know what y'all, I don't know. I don't know, man. It kind of reminded me of that situation where that dude, I forgot the name, but he was in like Wisconsin, I think it was. And he was a, quote unquote black guy. His girlfriend, she had said that he had sexually assaulted her, all right, previously. So she had a restraining order on him. So this guy, you know what I'm saying, black girlfriend, black baby mama, whatever she was, like baby mama, I guess, because she wasn't his wife. So he got a black baby mama, he's black. He breaks the restraining order, goes to her house, all right, so he shouldn't even been there, number one, all right. Legally, he shouldn't even been there. Number two, she calls 911 because he's there and he's actively being aggressive with her all over again. So she calls police show up, and he resists arrest. He goes to his car. There's a knife in the floorboard, like under the seat or somewhere. He's reaching into the car. Now the police, I don't think they really knew what he was reaching for, but they knew he was not listening to their commands. He was resisting. He was going to the car. That's a bad news for any police officer. All right, if you're in a heat of the moment situation and somebody trying to get to their car, you don't know what they're finna get. You have no idea. So they shot him like 6-7 times, right? He don't die. He gets paralyzed. I know y'all remember this situation. So in that situation, y'all know that black folks was talking about. I had somebody tell me, man. Matter of fact, it was Willie, Pastor Willie, man. It was you. I don't know if you're watching this right now. It was you, man. You was like, man, they was wrong for shooting that man so many times. They had to shoot that man 6-7 times. What? What you mean? Not they can't shoot? They ain't supposed to shoot that many times. He wasn't even supposed to be where he was at. He had sexually assaulted this lady. Apparently, that was true because they gave her a restraining order for him against him. So he broke the restraining order. So whatever happened to him at that point, I mean, if the girlfriend had shot him, I mean, that's his fault. He shouldn't have been over there. But then police get there and he don't follow no instructions. He resists arrest, goes to his car. What you expect to happen? The police supposed to just say, you know what? We know we get you arrested right now because you just broke the restraining order and all this stuff. But hey, man, whatever you want to do in the car, you go ahead and do that. If I see you pick up a gun, I'll shoot you at that point. That's not how they're gonna go. They're not even gonna talk to this guy and be trying to reason and all that stuff at that point. That sounds insane. Nobody's gonna do that. But hey, y'all take up for anybody, man. Y'all take up. Y'all if Satan was black, y'all take up for him. All Satan gotta do come back and say identify as black, and y'all and he's supposed to be like, man, he ain't so bad. You know, I mean, I know in the Bible they talk about, you know, the fall and he was sent to hell and stuff, and because he was defying God and he thought he was, you know, he thought he was God, equal with God and stuff, like he was just on the same level. We know that. I mean, the story that's bad, but now that I found that he's black, he ain't that bad. I mean, he had a little bit of a point. That's what y'all would say. I believe it. I promise. I ain't even joking. I'm joking, but I ain't joking. 'Cause that's pretty much how y'all operate. Straight up. I want somebody to tell me different. If Satan identified as black, y'all have his back too. Boy. Let's see here. Man, I hope y'all having a good day, man. Hope y'all having a good morning. I'm on one this morning, man. I'm on one this morning. I wasn't even planning on getting all this excited about this stuff, but people just say the craziest stuff. And they dead serious. They are dead serious. They not trolling. That folks be thinking I'm trolling about stuff I say. I don't say nothing more outrageous than the guy had a knife at a track meet and y'all see nothing wrong with that. If the white kid had the knife and stabbed the black kid, y'all would not be saying, "Oh man, we gotta wait till all the evidence come out." Y'all wouldn't say that. Y'all know you wouldn't say that. You know you wouldn't. So let's change gears. Let's change gears. All right, we're gonna put it. All right, let's put it in a different gear right now. We're gonna bring it down. We was in fifth gear. We're gonna bring it down to third gear. Slow it down a little bit. I got to cover this because I want to do like a little history lesson. I want to do a history lesson, but I'm gonna tie the history lesson in with something else real quick. So we got. Let me get this over here. There we go. So y'all know good old Mayor Reed, right? Y'all know Mayor Reed, man. City of Montgomery mayor. He got his own little podcast thing going on. I ain't trying to say that I have influenced him in any kind of way to do such a podcast. But it is interesting. But he got a podcast, and so on this podcast, he was talking about the whole Selma to Montgomery little celebration thing, right? You know, y'all know they had it a couple of weeks ago. It was a big deal. 60th anniversary. They had the Lorenz Tate. They had some everybody here, right? And Mayor Reed was asked about the turnout, like the turnout of what was going on with the with that celebration. Cause they had Big Boy from Outkast, and they had what's that man name? Terrence J from 106 Park, and he been in some movies and stuff, and they other people too. Some people I didn't know, some people I did know. Young Jock, so on and so forth. So let me bring in this video, man. We're gonna listen to what he had to say because he wasn't feeling Mayor Reed wasn't feeling the turnout. He felt like y'all let him down. Okay. They put a bunch of money, and he pretty much said it in this video. They put a bunch of money and resources into that whole celebration, and y'all black folks, y'all let him down. Okay. He said, man, y'all can show up to the Magic City Classic, and y'all show up to matter of fact, he said y'all can show up. The motherfuckers showed up to the Carver High School reunion, then showed up to the 60th anniversary of the Selma to Montgomery March. Woo! Boy, he was hot. He was not feeling it. Let's listen to what he had to say.
Before we wrap up, I knew we had a very big weekend with the 60th anniversary over the weekend, and I love the way you introduced one of your Morehouse brothers. It was great to see. Tell me the takeaways, the good, the bad, and the ugly about that entire weekend.
Well, let's start with the good. So,
Okay.
the team and everybody did a great job pulling, all these great artists in for the Stars for Freedom rally. We honored some of the legends the night before at a reception at the museum, giving people their flowers while they're here who have carried on that work since the movement over these last 60 years. And then, we had a great lineup on Saturday at Carver High School.
Here it comes.
Sunday, we had some young activists. Jeremiah Treese from BTW. We had Jatan Bosby Gilchrist from ACLU. Cheyenne Kreisberg, again, was one of those that we honored Friday. She spoke on Sunday. And obviously, DeMart Liggins, who born and raised in Montgomery, ASU alum, and the CEO of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, which Dr. King started, in Atlanta when he left Montgomery.
All right, get on to the bad part now. You done said it good. Like, get on to what you wanted to say.
So leading that movement, and then obviously having Martin Luther King III there.
Yes.
I thought the march was powerful from St. Jude to the Capitol. All of those things were good for me. The not so good to me was a lack of turnout. So I've seen more people at the Carver High School class reunion than I saw that what we had.
I told you.
Big Boy, Caleb Carr, Bishop, Pastor Jamal Bryant. We had all of these great, acts. That's right.
Pastor Mike, yeah.
Yeah, we Pastor Mike Jr., yeah. I mean, we had all of these great artists, but we didn't have the people that I thought would come out. And so, for us, one, you want to put on for Montgomery.
Right.
So when artists come, we had to show up. But two, we invest in corporate sponsors and private sponsors want to say, all right, well, Mayor, all right, you asked us to partner with y'all on this and to do this. Where are the people?
Right.
And I just think that
what he said, where are the people? Man, they got private sponsors, corporate sponsors. They put money into this. I told y'all, I lowballed it. It cost $1 million, man. I'm gonna say it cost $1 million at least for that weekend. At least looking at all the people that came, and it was a free event. It was a free event, and they put all that money into that weekend. He said, man, low turnout. He said, they wonder where the people at. More y'all show up for the high school class reunion for Carver than came over there for this event. Man, but see, this speaks to something that I've been talking about recently, and that's Montgomery needs to diversify what we have going on. See, people like Mayor Reed and the Democrat Party, all these state representatives, your Philip Enslers, Kirk Hatchers, and your Terry Sewell, and all these people, they want you young black people to have the same mindset that they have about the past and how you got to pull the past into the future, right? Like they want you to think we can't move on into the future without remembering the past and commemorating it every year, doing all these events and things, right? They can't help it. They have to keep that going. But they're not realizing the younger people, we're tired of that. We are tired of that. All the people that's like 50, 60, 70 years old, get it. Y'all went through some things. Okay. All right. And to a certain extent, we definitely appreciate the work, and we want to be able to remember certain things, right? Through museums and this and that, different programs and things. Even when we learn history. Cool. But we're tired of everything being focused on woe is us, man, we black, we come from slavery, civil rights movement, and all that. We are tired of that. We're tired of it. People want to have fun, okay? They want to have fun without feeling like they got to show up for something because it's politically correct to do so, because what it look like. People are tired of that. People want to go to a football game. They ain't got nothing to do with politics. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to see the politics in no sports, nothing I go to. I talk about politics enough through this and just out with people all the time. But when I go to an event, unless it's a political event, I don't want to be there. And if it's something like that where they got all these celebrities and stuff, but it's centered around politics, why would I want to be a part of that if I'm just trying to have fun? People want to go to a baseball game, football. They want to take their kids to the park. They want to take their kids to a parade. They want to do things that are fun and you can just get outside, do a little adventure, something like that, right? But they don't understand that. These people are out of touch. They think that because they are constantly trying to remind themselves and other people of the history, they think everybody wants to know about that and everybody wants to live that 24/7. We don't. We do not want to live that 24/7. We are in 2025 right now. We were trying to do 2025 things. We already got the laws. The stuff that they were working on 50, 60 years ago, we got the laws already. So why are we going to go out there and marching for voting rights? We got voting rights. Black folks just don't show up to vote. They ain't got nothing to do with them not having the right to vote. They just don't show up because whatever reason. Why don't you go in the community and figure out why? Right? Instead of trying to force them to show up to a commemorative event for civil rights and stuff, why don't you go out into the community and ask the young people, why don't they vote? Why don't you do that? That will probably get you further. You know what I'm saying? But y'all don't mind throwing away money, man. Y'all don't mind that. The Democratic Party don't mind throwing away money at all. Right? It ain't their money to throw away. This y'all money. It's our money. They don't care. You know what I'm saying? They do not care. Like you said, they got private sponsors, corporate sponsors, and it's taxpayer money. They ain't losing nothing. You know what I'm saying? But it makes him look a little bad when they're telling these sponsors, yo, man, we're gonna pull out, we're gonna make sure we can do this thing big. And then 350 people show up and they expect like 5,000. They can't even get 500. That's a problem. Make him look bad. Let's keep going to see what else you got to say.
Saturday and the march on Sunday, and so I'm gonna give a little. I like to say I praise, but I pinch a little bit.
Right.
I'm a pinch now. All right. So just get ready for that. People in our city cannot take the Voting Rights Act and the Civil Rights Movement with less importance than people who live outside of our city.
Wow.
So we have gotten complacent and comfortable. You wouldn't have myself. You wouldn't have these black judges that we are swearing in today.
I want y'all to listen to this. This is very, very important what he's about to say. And this is going to tie in to my next topic. Okay? Listen to what he's saying right here.
I'm gonna give a little. I like to say I praise, but I pinch a little bit.
Right.
I'm a pinch now. All right. So just get ready for that. People in our city cannot take the Voting Rights Act and the Civil Rights Movement with less importance than people who live outside of our city.
Wow.
So we have gotten complacent and comfortable. You wouldn't have myself. You wouldn't have these black judges that we are swearing in today without the Voting Rights March. You wouldn't have Sheriff Cunningham. You wouldn't have no C.C. Calhoun or Kirk Hatcher. You wouldn't have any of us in elected office. Right. They didn't have this 60 years ago. And they marched by the tens of thousands.
Oh, really? He said without the Voting Rights Act and all that stuff from Civil Rights Movement, there would be no Mayor Reed. There would be no Kirk Hatcher, no Sheriff Cunningham. He just started naming off all these people who are elected, right? Elected people. Elected, quote unquote, black people. We're going to get to that because he's lying. All right? He is lying, and I'm going to prove it in just a bit.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Not having any of that, and they did those things. The least we can do
is show up.
Wow. Right? The least we can do in Montgomery is we talked about a Turkey Day Classic. We come out for those tailgates. We come out for, I'm not going to say the football game. We come out for the halftime show.
That's it.
And we come out and we put on our bets. The least we can do is be there and be present, because what bothers me is that you can look at some other communities, they appreciate what our elders did more than we do.
Yeah.
And so when we call them, they're like, hey, when can we be there? What time? How many people do you want me to bring?
Yeah.
And we don't have that same appreciation. So sometimes, you can enjoy the shade of trees you did not plant. And you can think that you're the one who did all the work when you're just enjoying the benefits of it. So how hard should it have been for us to pack out Carver High School on a Saturday afternoon, perfect weather, with A-list stars.
Yes.
And listen, there were some people who had to pull out the last minute that I'm actually was glad did not come, to be honest, because.
Oh man, so I'm gonna cut off right there. He don't get it. He does not get it. He's saying, yo, how come we can pack out high school football games and high school class reunions and all this type of stuff, but when they reach out to the older crowd about something like a civil rights type of event, the older people will come. They'll come from Tuskegee, Selma, Whitehall. They'll come from wherever, Alexander City, wherever they live now. They'll come to Montgomery and celebrate. But the younger people want to go to football games and tailgates and class reunions, right? By the hundreds and by the thousands. You don't get it. Y'all are still stuck on that history stuff. Like, see, when you beat somebody over the head for so long with the same propaganda, the same lessons over and over and over again about you only do such and such because of what they did, or when you just constantly remind people of that all the time, they get tired of it. People don't want to be going to these events every year. They don't want to feel like you're making them feel like they have to show up. Nobody wants to be forced to do anything. That's why integration was so bad, because you're forcing people to do things that they weren't doing previously. All right, under the law. So what his people are doing is black folk, they're trying to guilt y'all into going. Black folk, man, y'all don't show up for this, but y'all show up for that over there though. But he don't understand. Right? They don't get it. Anyway, so then something else he said was, without the Voting Rights Act and all that stuff, you wouldn't have these black politicians in office. That's a lie. That's a lie. I want y'all to look at this right here. I want y'all to look at this right here. Let me pull it in. Republican Party of Alabama. This right here, and shout out to I got to give a shout out to the author. This is written by Jeff Frederick. He is an alum of my university, the University of North Carolina at Pembroke. Shout out to him. I read his whole article, and then I looked off to the side and I saw University of North Carolina, Pembroke. I'm like, hold on a second, am I seeing that right? I don't never see nobody that went to my college, but he went there and he wrote this article. Ain't that something? He published this in 2008. All right. Now, what it talks about is blacks in the Republican Party. All right. If y'all didn't know, the Republican Party was started in 1854. 1854. That was prior to the end of slavery. Okay. All right. Let me get to this part down here, because it says the Republican Party emerges. All right. And there it is right there. Formed in 1854. All right. Comprised of abolitionists who wanted slavery ended immediately and anti-slavery members who opposed extending slavery into new federal territories and states. All right. So they wanted to end it. Let's go down here. Let's see here. More than a few Alabama newspaper editors and political officials castigated the new political party as Black Republicanism. Y'all hear that? Black Republicanism. We're talking about in the 1850s, 1860s. All right. Let's see here. In June 1867, Alabama Republicans assembled in Montgomery. See, we're going to learn about real history today. Today we're doing a real history lesson. They ain't teaching you this in school. They're not teaching y'all this in MPS. I'm telling you, I went through MPS. Well, I never learned none of this. In 1867, Alabama Republicans assembled in Montgomery for a convention that revealed numerous differences among the freedmen, white unionists, scalawags, and carpetbaggers. All right, these are all groups of people who political groups. Some favored black suffrage, whereas others were more reluctant. Most favored congressional reconstruction, and others found the sweeping platform of the radical Republicans in Congress to be too much, too soon. All right. By 1867, more blacks were registered to vote in Alabama than whites. And joining the party of Abraham Lincoln, the great emancipator, was an easy choice for blacks, who regarded the Democratic Party as the political arm of Southern slavery. In 1867, the state elected 100 delegates to yet another constitutional convention, of which 96 were Republicans. That included 18 blacks, 18 out of 96. We're talking about in 1867. We're not in 19 nothing. All right, this is 1867. A new day had dawned in Alabama with Republicans in control of the political process. This that real history right here. This is what you're not gonna learn in school. All right. Now down here, we got some specific names. All right. Let's see here. Benjamin Turner of Selma, all right, was in the 42nd Congress. James T. Rapier of Montgomery in the 43rd Congress. Jeremiah Harrelson of Dallas County in the 44th Congress were among those the state sent to Washington. Within the state, the Republicans dominated the legislature, electing a combined total of 27 blacks to the House and the Senate, and placing Smith chair of June 1867 Republican Convention in the governor's office. He said Mayor Reed was talking about you got to have this Voting Rights Act and all that stuff. We talking about that was in 1960s. All right, that was in 1966, 67, 68. All right, that in that front in the mid 60s of 1900s. These black men were elected to office in the 1860s, right around slavery time. Slavery was just ending. This is just Alabama, by the way. We're not even talking about Mississippi and Texas and other states that also had black Republicans. I'm just covering Alabama right now. See, this is not what they want y'all to know about. They don't want y'all to know these names. Benjamin S. Turner, they don't want you to know that name at all. It says, by 1870, the Ku Klux Klan was active in the state, targeting blacks, Republicans, and other undesirables. Right? The Ku Klux Klan was from the Democrat Party. You got to understand, the Democrat Party controlled the South at that time. Right? And the Democrat Party came out of Tennessee. That's where it started, in the South. And so they was attacking Republicans. Now, if the Republicans were the racists, how come the KKK, who everybody know them as being the quote unquote racist, why would they be attacking Republicans if they're on the same team? Obviously, that's not true, right? Yeah, this day. Democrats suggested further Republican rule could result in sexual integration of the races and the eventual extinction of the white race. By 1874, the Democrats were simply more united than Republicans on the issue of race and in their opposition to continued federal reconstruction. Supported by Klan violence and the perception that Republicans had been corrupt, Democrats retook control of Alabama. Evidence exists that the Democrats prevented Black Republicans from voting through violence and intimidation, destroyed marked ballots, and invited residents of Georgia to cross the border and vote for Democratic candidates in Alabama. Hey, don't that sound familiar? That sounds so familiar to me. I could have sworn the Democratic Party are the ones that's pushing for all these mail-in ballots, allow it. They don't want you to have an ID when you go and vote. They want you to just be able to vote just willy-nilly. If you want to vote 5-6 times, you can do that. Like they want no checks and balances on that. That sounds like an old playbook. They bringing back the old playbook. Ain't that something? Huh. Although the Democrats clearly used racist appeals to attract voters in 1874, the larger issue remains that the Republicans themselves were divided on race, unable to win office without a racial coalition and unable to overlook racial differences while in power. So you got to understand, at that time, the Republicans were coming in and they're trying to get they're coming into a Democrat-dominated area. All right? The whole South was Democrat-dominated. So Republicans are just coming in and they're trying to get their footing. They're trying to maneuver their way and try to gain power little by little. So there was some infighting, there was some disagreements and all that type of stuff. But they had the right idea. They just were putting it together. Yeah, what you have to understand. Oh, it's some more on here too. Oh yeah. Man, y'all got to go read this right here. Encyclopedia of Alabama.org. That's what website I'm on. That's where I'm at. All you got to type in is Black Republicans, you know what I'm saying, history of Black Republicans in Alabama. It'll come up. That's all I typed in. That's it. You know what I'm saying? But we don't learn this type of stuff. People are just like blindly following behind what a politician got to say. They're blindly following, you know what I'm saying? They're going by what the teachers teach them. But they don't teach them none of this. I know they're not teaching this because I didn't learn it. I didn't even learn this. I learned this stuff when I was like college and after college. That's when I was learning this stuff. I'm like looking up, like, let me read more about what I didn't know about. And then you learn all kind of stuff. Man, you learn about, let me find old buddy real quick. Let me find old buddy that nobody knows about. Let's see. Let me find it. Okay. It might be another guy's name. It might not be this guy. But if y'all ever heard of this one guy here this right here got multiple black slave owners right here. Cause see, black slave owners, it's like that didn't exist. You know what I'm saying? And it did exist. Let's see here. I get tired of these websites always popping up different ads and stuff. According to historian Carter G. Woodson, in 1830, 3,775 freed former slaves owned 12,100 slaves between them. All right. That's just the estimate. 12,000. It said majority of the black slave owners owned one or two individuals, but there were some that had a lot of slaves. Oh, that's him, I think. Hold on a second. That might be him right there. There was one slave owner that he went to court for the right to own slaves. Yeah, here it is. This is what I was looking for right here. Anthony Johnson. Y'all need to go read up on this stuff, man. So y'all won't be so off and so misled. So Anthony Johnson. So he was around from 1600 to 1670, was an Angolan who achieved freedom in the early 17th century colony of Virginia. Johnson was captured in his native Angola by an enemy tribe and sold to Arab or Muslim slave traders. That's how it go. They don't want to talk about that though. He was eventually sold as an indentured servant to a merchant working for the Virginia Company. Sometime after 1635, Antonio and Mary gained their freedom from indentured. Antonio changed his name to Anthony Johnson. In 1651, Anthony Johnson owned 250 acres and the services of 4 white and 1 black indentured servant. The black indentured servant, John Casor, demanded that Johnson release him after his 7 years of indenture. So he'd been working for him for 7 years. He wanted to be free. All right. In March of 1654, according to Delmarva settlers, Anthony's servant, a man named John Casor, requested that Johnson release him from his indenture because it had long expired past the usual 7 years. Johnson replied that he knew of no indenture and that Casar was to be his servant for life. Anthony Johnson's neighbors, George and Robert Parker, stated that they knew of another indenture for the said Casar to a planter on the other side of the bay. So basically, they try and throw off the people, what it sounds like. Let's see here. So he went to court. All right. So Anthony Johnson went to court for over this situation here. The courts ruled in favor of Anthony Johnson and declared John Casar his property in 1655. Casar became the first person of African descent in Britain's 13 colonies to be declared as a slave for life as a result of Johnson's civil suit. In the case of Johnson versus Parker, the court of Northampton County upheld Johnson's right to hold Kasor as a slave. And that ruling was from March 8th, 1655. All right. So y'all folks miss me with the whole white man owned slaves and all that type of stuff, man. A man from Angola. the man got taken from an enemy tribe and then sold off to the Muslims, who therefore sold him to a Virginia plantation. And then from there, he ended up getting free, and he had 250 acres. He had, it said white, he had a white slave and a black slave. He wanted the black slave to be his slave for life. That man was like, look, man, I put in my 7 years. I'm ready to go. Anthony said, no, you're not going nowhere. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go to court by this. And then won the case. Y'all, these folks want to play like everybody's just dumb and folks don't know how to go research stuff and read up on history, right? Just because they don't want to hear the truth, don't make the truth not the truth. You can feel how you want to feel about it. You can get mad, upset, because you feel that power slipping you, right? Because see, they want power over white folks now. That's really what it is. They want to flip the script. And so because they feel like, oh man, we can't let certain information get out there because they're gonna lose power and control, right? They lose the upper hand. But history is what it is. History is what it is. It happened. It's documented, right? He just won of several thousand. He just won of several thousand that had slaves. And folks, I want to say, oh man, they all the black slave owners, they had their family as slaves because they want to keep their family intact. Anthony Johnson had slaves because he wanted work to get done. And he like, man, look, man, the work's so good, I ain't trying to get rid of it. I want this slave for life. And fought for it. That wasn't his cousin, brother, son, none of that. He wasn't Anthony Johnson wasn't even from over here. You know what I'm saying? That man came straight from, he wanted the originals. He wanted the original, like the first 1,600 slaves. We ain't even talking about 1,700, 1,800, none of that. We ain't talking about the end of slavery. We talking about the beginning of slavery. More toward the beginning is when he was around. Man, look, man, I swear that we say knowledge is potential power. Knowledge is potential power. Just because you know something, it don't give you power just to know something. But you got to be able to apply that, right? You got to be able to apply that knowledge that you got. And certain people want to learn certain information so they can hold it over your head and say, man, see, man, they trying to do us wrong, man. And colorism from back in the day, man, they had us going against each other, light skin, dark skin, and all that type of stuff. Man, it's a whole other side to the history that y'all not talking about. Y'all only talk about it from one angle. Y'all only talk about it from one angle. Y'all not talking about the women that were slave owners. Y'all not talking about the black people that were slave owners, the Native Americans that were slave owners. Y'all ain't talking about none of that. Which all of that was part of the history. They want to tell you 10% of the history as if that's 100% of the situation. That's what happens. And then the kids get brainwashed into thinking black folk, man, poor black folk, man, we ain't never had nothing. We were slaves and we had to fight for everything we got. Everybody got to fight what they got. Everybody. When the Irish came over here, they had to fight for what they got. The Italians had to do the same thing. Everybody that came over here had to fight. The first Europeans that came to America, they came because they were getting oppressed over there across the water in England. They was getting oppressed over there. So they like, man, we're going to leave this situation. And then came over here, and then guess what? the queen and king and all them, they still was ruling what was going on over here. So the people over here that came up, that left Britain, England, all that, they say, yo, you know what? Forget all this, man. We're going to fight for real. Like, we're not finna fight with words and all that stuff. We're going to have to kill something, right? Because we're not finna let them keep controlling us like that. We done left, came across the water, and they still controlling us. No. So then, them people put in that work, man, and had a war. Revolutionary war. And because we won the war, we got United States of America. And then folks want to hate and talk about, man, this ain't even the white folks' land or whatever. Black folks built America. Man, the white folks won the war. You know what I'm saying? The white folks won the war. They came over here to leave the white folks that they was over there with because they ain't like how things was running. They came over here to start something brand new and then had to die for it. People died for this. And y'all got the audacity to say, man, this country ain't for the black folk, man. This ain't, you know what I'm saying? These folk done come here and took the country from the Native Americans and stuff. The Native Americans was taking the land from each other already. You know what I'm saying? I'll get to that in a second. I definitely go into more detail about that too. But the Europeans that came over here, they had to fight for what they had. They ain't just come over here and just, things were just easy. That's not how it went. You know what I'm saying? But people are disingenuous. They don't want to really keep it real. They want to be able to like always hold that animosity. They got to hold that envy because white folks, whatever, right? And they got to keep black folks dumb, deaf, and blind because when black folks open their eyes up, you know, quote unquote black people, when they open their eyes up and they realize that the history that they've been taught was not thorough, was not the full scope of what happened, who did what, and why. When they start realizing that, asking these questions, like I did for myself, and they start realizing race ain't even a real thing, it's modern, extremely modern. The first time racism was used was in 1936 by New York Times. The first man to talk about race was in 1902. I forget the name, man. I think it was Henry something. But like 1902, 1901, that was the first time it got used like publicly. That's how recent. But you got people hanging everything, their whole identity, everything that they stand for, it always leads with their race. And then they call themselves Christian. They call themselves a believer in God. God ain't never told you got to lead with your color. You're not a white Christian. You're not a black Christian. You're not a Mexican Christian. You're just a Christian. We all on the same level. If you are believing in Christ, then you're on the same team, regardless of where you are in the world and what you look like, how tall you are, how short you are, whether you wear glasses, whether your eyes are blue, red, green, purple. It don't matter what you got going on. It don't matter. None of that matters. But these folks cannot let it go. They got to. It been so ingrained in them that they have to hold on and push the color first and foremost before they even get to God. They'll get to you quick enough, but right, they got to get out that color thing first. They are black first. You know what I'm saying? That's what they push first. But once you start asking the questions, once you start, you know what I'm saying, being real and honest about it, you're going to figure out that them folks lead you down. They lead you down the wrong path. The wrong path. They brainwash y'all. And when it goes to the Native Americans, they love to say Native Americans were trampled over, right? Done wrong and all that stuff. Do y'all must not know about the Apaches? You know what I'm saying? The Comanches. The Comanche tribe was probably the most violent Native American tribe in this part of the world. They literally raided other tribes. They would slaughter tribes. That's what they did. Their whole livelihood was based on going around. They were nomads, so they would travel around, go to different tribes, slaughter everybody, take all their food, shelter, rape the women, all that stuff. Documented. They were proud of this. You know what I'm saying? You'll be surprised what you read about when you start really digging and learning things and stop believing what the school teachers say. Man, the Native Americans over here just over here smoking peace pipes and eating a buffalo and just chilling. You know what I'm saying? Having family time with the kids around the campfire. And then the white man came over here and brought disease and all that stuff. But parts of that is true, but you ain't giving the whole scope. All the Native Americans wasn't peaceful. All of them wasn't just like that. And all the white folks that came over here wasn't evil. You got evil people in every area of life. Okay? We got them right here in Montgomery, Alabama. Y'all see them on TV all the time. Okay? But they're not indicative of everybody. Right? Everybody that's in politics ain't evil. Everybody that's in the school system ain't evil. It's just a lot of them are. Unfortunately. Same thing with the Native Americans, same thing with the white man, same thing with the slaves, same with everybody. Every group has evil people. Every group has people who are really of good. They really want to do the right thing. But y'all should go read up on the Comanche tribe for real. It might turn your stomach. Some things that they was doing. If you've ever seen the movie Tomahawk. If you ever seen the movie Tomahawk, all right, that movie is kind of in line. I mean, it's an exaggeration, but that'll put you in mind of what the Comanches was doing to people when they found you. If you want one of them in that movie, what they were doing, that's what they do. That's what they did. All right. So, but you won't know that unless you go read about it. You know what I'm saying? If you plan to learn that in school, they ain't finna teach you about that. They're going to teach you about the Iroquois up there in New York. They're going to teach you about the Creek in Alabama. They're going to teach you about the Cherokee in Oklahoma. You know what I'm saying? You're going to learn about these little tribes that, you know, they was kind of just all, you know, chilling. You know what I'm saying? Even some of them was fighting each other and stuff. There's always been war between people. That's always existed. Even in Africa, they existed. I just told y'all about Anthony Johnson. He was in Angola. He got kidnapped from a different tribe over there in Africa. And then they sold him to the Muslims. See, it ain't about no color because they all the same color over there in that part of Africa. But they don't care nothing about all that. They talking about, man, they trying to make money. All right, they trying to get some resources. They trying to survive. They don't care nothing about you look like them. Y'all the same skin tone. That's dumb American talk. These fools talking about something. They all black. They all look the same. But you got black folks that's light skinned like me, and you got dark skinned people like Wesley Snipes. And y'all talking about y'all the same. How? How? You got albino black people. How they black? Like you can't even just look at people and say what they are. Because everything is so mixed up and people come out all shades and tones and all kind of stuff. So you can't, I mean, it's just dumb. Really, it's really dumb to even talk about black, white, and all that stuff. It's dumb, really, because people don't even know who's who, really. And most people that's from other countries that's so-called black, they don't call themselves black. They are wherever they from. Nigerian, Jamaican. They're gonna be whatever country they come from. That's where they are. When it comes to America, a lot of them will assimilate to American culture where black folks love to call themselves black or African American. Other countries don't look at it like that. You know what I'm saying? That's America. We look at it like that over here in the West. UK, Australia, places like that, we look at it like that. The rest of the world doesn't. You know what I'm saying? I need to do some more, man. Read up on some things. Just read up on some stuff. Stop listening to what these pastors got to say, the politicians and all these people. Stop listening to what they got to tell you. Because they're trying to keep y'all brainwashed and dumb and blind. I don't know if I went off enough or not, man. That's just, let me see here. Hey, if y'all didn't watch my video from yesterday, man, with that whole taboo room where they came to Montgomery and did, man, whew, that was I got a video I'm gonna put out in a little while. When I get off here, I'm gonna put that video out. A little clip from that live I did. Cause it was a part in that video that just had me it just was sad. It was sad, had me upset. And I think when y'all see it, I don't know if y'all watched it by now. Y'all probably watched the whole thing by now. The 53-minute video, but there's a part toward the end of the video where a kid was involved, and I'm talking about, man, that right there. I ain't heard nobody talk about that. I guess I might be the only one. I'm gonna be the first one to speak on that, because that portion of the video was really like that was it. Like you have a child that adults are, instead of encouraging to do the right thing, instead of uplifting him and affirming him to do, be in school and stuff in the moment. In the moment, they didn't affirm him being a good student. They didn't affirm him doing the right thing. None of that. They went to street stuff. And then when the kid leave, then they want to jump to, oh man, we don't teach no kids to do no street stuff. But y'all just told the kid to do street stuff. When he was right there beside you with your arm around him, you was talking street talk. You wasn't trying to uplift him. You know what I'm saying? That, before they talk about anything with color, racism, and all that stuff, if y'all can't deal with that, don't talk about no race. Don't talk about race. You over here, you're influencing a child. And then they doing the video like it's cool. Like, they did that video like it's like we supposed to just watch that and be like, man, that's just, hey man, it is what it is. It's a little bitty boy that y'all pumping his mind with that poison. Nobody should be cool with that. But I ain't seen I ain't seen a pastor. I haven't seen none of these people that's in politics and stuff. None of them address it. All I see people saying is, man, they made some good points in that video, man. That dude in the barbershop here, he was cooking, man, because he said, talking about the colorism thing. Yeah, man, that's true, because, back in the day, man, the slave owners, man, they used to have the blacks separated by skin tone. See, they had the house Negro, he was light-skinned. They had the field Negro, he was dark-skinned. So that put them, that made them be at odds with each other. You know what I'm saying? They clashed with each other, you know what I'm saying? Like they ops. So then you fast forward to now, we got the same thing going on in the street now. You know what I'm saying? These folks against each other because what the white man did way back then. But really it was the black slave owner back then. But anyway, they ain't talking about that. If you say that to them, they'll be like, what? Black slave owner? How? Where? When? There ain't no way possible. Nobody, there ain't no black slave owners. They would be completely shocked and confused. But people watch the video and they pointed all that out, right? Yeah, man, you can buy guns at the gun show, man. These kids can get guns from the gun show. See, the white folks building all these prisons, and see, they trying to put black folks in the prison. Man, y'all want to keep looking at all this stuff that they don't have nothing. Let's deal with it. Let's deal with how to not go to prison. How about that? Like, y'all be focused on the wrong stuff. Once you get to prison, I don't care nothing about what conditions you in. personally, I ain't worried about it, right? Because how about don't commit crimes? How about that? Can we focus on that part, right? And instead of focusing on the prison thing, the gun thing, colorism and racism and white supremacy and all these keywords, all these hot terms that people use, how about we deal with a portion in the video where a little boy that's like 12, 13 or something like that, maybe 11 or something. I don't know how he was little though, little bitty boy. Let's deal with the adults talking to him the way they talk to him and encouraging him to do crimes and stuff. How about that? Can we focus on that part? But I'm the hater though. I'm the one that's always putting down the black folks and all that stuff. But I'm dealing with something that's real that we all need to be looking at, while y'all look at all the little sidebar stuff, all the stuff on the sidelines. You know what I'm saying? Y'all worry about stuff down the road. I'm trying to deal with the youth in the moment. Like, y'all skipping over this. I'm not skipping over it. So who's realer than who? Because if I'm not skipping over it and y'all are, what that make y'all? Oh boy. Hey man, y'all hit that like. Hit the like, man. If you watching right now, hit the like. It don't take that long. It don't take that long. Hit the like, share the video. That'd be cool too. Share the video and follow me, because I do content. I'm doing the content. Multiple videos a week. When I get off of here, I'm gonna drop this video that I'm talking about right now with the little boy. Shoot, could give y'all a little sneak peek right now. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can figure that out. Let's see here. Let's see here. Okay, I think it's that. Yeah, there we go. Okay, let's see here. Okay. Let me play this right here. This is what I'm dropping in a little while. I'm gonna drop this right here in a little while. What happening is you're gonna see these grown men call over a child. They're gonna call a child over. Let's watch what happens when they call this child over. Ain't no white man involved in this. How many people are gonna talk about this right here? I can't be the only one. Let's see what happens when nobody that's white is involved. Let's see what happens in this clip.
Man. Oh, come here. Come here. He finna talk some shit to you niggas. He on it. Is you on it?
I'm on it.
Every day?
Every day.
Ready to get on that when you get old too, ain't?
Yep.
Don't see, though they on.
Hey,
look. Though they on.
Bun.
Hey, we ain't teaching them none of this shit.
Yeah, that's a little sneak peek. I'm dropping that in a little while. That's crazy. That's crazy. But hey, they wanna say racism, white supremacy. You know what I'm saying? They want to blame the education system. They want to blame everything in the world. But so what we saw happen right there in real time. Let's put the blame where it sits and stop ignoring stuff. I'm going to see how real some of y'all are. Some of y'all are activists. I'm going to see how real y'all are. I want to see how real y'all are. All right? Victorious. Make sure you address this right here. Victorious Felder, Willie Knight, you know what I'm saying, Karen, William Boyd, all the people that's active in the community that's all about black folks, empowerment and stuff. I want y'all to address this. I can't be the only one. Y'all can't let the white boy do it. Y'all can't let the beige boy, the red, yellow boy, the Mexican looking Native American, white boy, black boy, y'all can't let me do it by myself. I mean, because I will do it by myself, because I'm going to be the first one, obviously, to do it, because I ain't heard nobody else mention this. And I know y'all saw the video. Everybody saw the video. We're gonna separate the real from the fake. How about that? Let's separate the real from the fake. But yo, I'm finna get up over here. Go ahead, drop this video. Y'all make sure y'all watch the video. Y'all like it, comment on it. Let me know. I want to hear what y'all got to say about that. Really, I'm gonna drop it like as soon as I get over here. Probably the next 10 minutes, it's gonna be out there. I want y'all to watch that clip and tell me what y'all think about what's going on in that scenario. I want to know what y'all got to say about it. Everybody. I want to hear from the activists too, but I want to know what the regular folks got to. Just regular people that just watching like that's never been around this environment. I want to see what y'all got to say about that. Anyway, appreciate y'all for watching, man. This was the Captain's Quarter show. I was your host, L. Milliner. I am never afraid to rock the boat. And you remember it. Till next time, I am gone.